Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make clear ice at home. I don't live here, this is my office. But the reason I'm here is I've got to put this in a freezer for 25 hours and my family doesn't like when I do that at home in our crowded freezer. So it's the weekend, this thing's empty, so that's why I'm here. So what do you need? You need an Igloo cooler, get it on Amazon. It's got to be a 5-quart cooler for most people because most home freezers are not large enough for anything bigger than this, okay? So it's got to be a rigid cooler, no styrofoam or flexible. What we're going to be doing is we're going to fill this with tap water. Some people say, you know, use filtered or distilled, or you have to put hot water in here first, then put it in the freezer. I've tried all of those things, and I can tell you, for me, tap water works. Maybe I have magical tap water here in southern New Jersey, but tap water works for me. So that's what I would suggest you try first. I'm gonna fill this up with tap water, an inch from the top, inch and a half, doesn't matter, an inch from the top. And then I'm gonna put it in the freezer for about 25 hours. So without further ado, I will see you tomorrow and let you see what this looks like after I pull it out. Okay, so you see I brought my ice home. It's been out of the freezer for about 15 minutes. Here's the tools that we use. Not much, just a wood cutting board, a serrated bread knife because we want a flat, and see it's all level and flat, the blade there. Something with a little bit of weight to it. I use a meat pounder, but some people use a little small hammer and a cookie sheet. And what we do with the cookie sheet, you'll see in a minute, because when ice comes in contact with metal, it melts a lot faster than when it comes in contact with wood. So I actually use the cookie sheet to even out the ice a little bit because sometimes it doesn't freeze evenly. So that's it, and I'm gonna start working on the ice. All right, everybody, here we go. So we take the ice, and I put my cutting board down in the sink, and then I'm going to turn my Igloo cooler upside down, and right away I heard it, boom! It slid out and it hit the wood. So here's what it looks like. It looks like it froze all the way through, if you can see that, but it didn't. So I'm going to grab my knife. I left it over here. Grab my knife, and I'm just gonna chip this off because it did not freeze all the way. You can see water in there. And all that, we're gonna get rid of all that water. And we chip all this ice away. We're not gonna be using that ice. Go. Now, you see how it has these ridges here? We're gonna shave them off with the bread knife. Might think that's a little scary. Don't worry. Just shave it off. It's not going to be perfect. That's it. And then use a cookie sheet. There we go. So now we have this block of ice here, and you can see that it's very clear. What I'm gonna do is, because it's not even on this side, I'm gonna leave it on this cookie sheet, and just for a couple minutes, you see right away it starts melting. And after a couple minutes, it's going to, you can see it's already, if we can zoom in on that just a little bit, you can see it's already starting to melt. So we'll come back in a couple minutes and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so what I ended up doing, I noticed, so I put it on the cookie sheet and then I flipped it over because I noticed I had a little bit of cloudiness on top. So when I flipped it over, it got a lot more clear. So that's our finished product. So this ice is not cloudy, it's wet, it's dripping, it's actually perfect for cutting. You would never want to cut a piece of ice that literally just came right out of the freezer because it needs to temper for a while. It needs to start melting a little bit. So it's almost like cutting ceramic tile. What I do is I'm gonna get 1, 2, 3 cuts this way, and then I'm gonna get 2 cuts this way. So I'm gonna get 12 cubes out of this thing. So just kind of, I'm not measuring, I've done this enough times, you just kind of eyeball it. And you lay your knife down and you just, I'm probably adding like, I don't know, a pound of pressure here. I'm just kind of like, I'm not sawing, I'm not pressing hard, I'm just scoring the top. And again, the metal, when metal comes in contact with ice, it's as much melting the ice as it is scoring the top. So there's a little groove here now, side to side, I can't really move it. So when you get that to that point, you just lightly tap the back of this knife, lightly tap it, don't hammer it, and just keep going back and forth. And I can see that ice is about to crack in a perfectly straight line. Wait for it, there it is. Perfectly straight line. I only scored one thing. I didn't go around to all those guys on the internet that go around and score the whole thing. You don't need to do that. That's why I had to make this video, because I have to teach those beginners out there how it's really done. So anyway, now I'm gonna cut the cubes and you'll see how easy this goes. This will take even less tapping than taking the big piece out. So there we have it. Perfect 2x2 cube. And I'm gonna cut 11 more. And when I'm done, I'll show you what they all look like. So see you in a minute. All right, so I cleaned off my cutting board and here's my ice. So as you can see, these things are perfectly clear. You can see my fingers right through them. So they're all kind of like melted. So what I do, I put them in gallon freezer bags, but I dry them off with a paper towel just very, very quickly, just to get as much of the water off as I can, and then I hurry up and put them in the fridge. And when they come out of the freezer, they're going to be clouded up only on the outside because it's very cold in the freezer. So what I do when I take a cube like this out of the freezer, it's not going to be this clear. I'm going to put it in my glass for maybe a couple minutes as I'm mixing my drink or as I'm preparing my cocktail, and then I'll just let it temper for like a minute or two in the glass. If you pour warm liquor over an ice cube that just came out of the freezer, it's probably gonna crack. So you gotta let it temper for a minute or two. So I'm gonna spare you the time of watching me put these in plastic bags, or a plastic bag. All right, everybody, well, I'm gonna actually demonstrate what these ice cubes look like in a glass. Now, I'm not using vodka or liquor, but I'm actually using water. But just pretend that this is, grab one of my ice cubes here, put it in the glass. And that is, to me, that's just a beautiful thing to look at, right? So I'm gonna add a little water to it. And that's what it looks like. You almost can't even see that there's an ice cube in that drink. And that's why I love these ice cubes. And that's why I'll never drink a cloudy ice cocktail ever again. So anyway, thank you all for watching. By the way, shout out to the Wonder Bar, my friends in Atlantic City. It's a great restaurant on the water, on the Intracoastal Waterway in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Good food, good drinks, good people. Anyway, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. And hopefully I taught you all how to make clear ice at home.